Everyone. So I'm going to quickly recap the UFC 271 pay-per-view in this video and get my immediate thoughts out regarding the standout performances of the night. Obviously, Israel Adesanya getting the job done once again and yet another dominant victory for the middleweight champion. Now, the fight, obviously, I know a lot of people are probably going to say that it wasn't that explosive. It wasn't a typical Israel Adesanya striking masterclass. But in my opinion, I think it was a very technical fight. Adesanya picked his shots nicely throughout the fight. He didn't rush into anything, and so did Robert Whittaker. I think Rob looked very calm in there, especially if you compare this one to the first fight. Now, Israel Adesanya's takedown defense is, of course, another talking point from this fight. I think he looked superb in there in terms of his takedown defense, even though Whittaker did a lot more on the ground than he did the first time around. Now, obviously, Rob found the majority of his success in the center of the octagon, I think, because that's where it's rather more comprehensive to take Izzy down, comparing to when Izzy is fighting along the fence line instead. Now, I'll obviously have to go back and rewatch the fight once again if I were to do a full breakdown of it. But for now, at the top of my head, if I ask myself, like, did Robert Whittaker win that fight? I don't think so. I saw after the fight, Rob came out at the press conference and he said that he thought he did enough to get the victory, but I think I'll have to disagree with that because I think he was being very cautious early on in the fight. You could see that in the first round when where Izzy was completely dominating him throughout that first 5 minutes. But then credit to Rob for finding his composure in the second round, and I think he might have won that round as well. But yeah, I think round one, three, and four, I'd give it to Izzy. But like I said, I'll have to go and rewatch round two and four because I think there are high chances of Izzy winning round number two and Rob winning round number four as well. But yeah, overall, I think it was the right call. Israel Adesanya 100% deserved that victory. And if you ask me, I think this fight reminded me a lot of Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington from UFC 268, the rematch between them. Everyone expected that fight to be explosive, but that wasn't the case. And like we saw, it was rather very technical. Both fighters fought a very smart fight, and I think Izzy and Rob did pretty much the same along those lines tonight at UFC 271. So yeah, what's next for Robert Whittaker? Personally, I'd love to see him scrap against Marvin Vittori, but if you're looking for a fight that is going to be more explosive, more aggressive in terms of his striking, then I think Whittaker versus Paulo Costa is the fight I'd go for right now. On the other hand, like on the other hand, for Izzy, like he said, he wants to return in June. Right now, in my mind, a fight between him and Cannonier, I think, should be the next fight in the middleweight division for the middleweight title. And I don't think there's anyone at the top of the division who could challenge for the belt right now. Cannonier with that big victory over Derek Brunson, of course, on the undercard of this pay per view. Brunson looked good in that first round, and then I don't really know what happened in the second round. It was very strange. He started to gas out really quickly, which is unusual if you've been following Derek Brunson. Like we saw him smoothly go through Darren Till in his last fight, and we don't really know what happened here. So yeah, nonetheless, a big victory for Cannonier. Izzy versus Cannonier is the next fight to be made at the top of the division for the middleweight belt. Rob versus Vittori or Costa, and Bronson for what is supposedly going to be his last fight. I think should face Sean Strickland, who I think would be a fitting opponent for him. So yeah, that's how I think the UFC middleweight division is going to play out in the coming few months. But yeah, we shall see. Nonetheless, big win for Tai Tuivasa in the co-main event. For one moment, I did think that after watching that first round, I did think that Lewis and Tuivasa were going to play safe, rather much like Derek Lewis versus Francis Ngannou turned out to be. But then they went at each other in that second round, and Tuivasa, who seemed to be on the back foot after taking some heavy shots from Lewis, just got the KO out of nowhere with that right elbow. So yeah, absolutely ridiculous stuff in the heavyweight division once again. Overall, another great UFC pay-per-view. Congratulations to all the winners, and what a month of UFC action is turning out to be. We still have two big events to look forward to as well. So yeah, we shall see. Anyway, a big pay-per-view for the UFC once again, UFC 271. And yeah, that was it for my immediate reaction video. Hope you guys enjoy the fights tonight. and do hit that subscribe button. I feel like I don't say this often to my subscribers, to my viewers, but you guys should hit the subscribe button. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.